Good morning, guys. Welcome to my Flosstube. My name is Emily. I am Crafty Emily here on YouTube, and welcome to my weekly update. It is Wednesday, so I'm back on the correct day, October the 1st. So we've jumped into October, which is kind of lovely. So this is going to be because I again don't feel like I've stitched very much in this last week. I've done 4,025 baddies at the ice machine. That's what that was. 4,025 stitches this week, so 3,000 lower than perhaps I would have wanted. I'm going to show you everything I've stitched in September and the pieces I'm going to keep out for October. I'm going to put everything else away because I feel like I'm too buzzy at the moment. I'm buzzy because mostly I am very nearly ready to list my autumn and Halloween packs. I appreciate we're already in October, but they will be going live hopefully this week, and they might even be going live on Shopify, because yesterday morning we booted up Richard's he bought himself it's not old, it's new, he just hasn't used it since February. He bought himself a little Lenovo Chromebook when he started his job, so 2 years ago, and the day he came home sick was the last time he used it. So when I powered it up, Google went, whoa, I am dormant. I have not been used. You have to completely reset me, which I assume is like a Google failsafe. And because he was sleeping upstairs, I didn't want his phone to start chirping because he'd have woken up and it was really early. So, and it just jumped onto mine. So it got set up under my Google. And of course, Richard was like, well, I can't see it. I can't use it. So I now have a lovely little Chromebook that I can use. So I'm going to open a Shopify shop, and it's got a keyboard. It's a tablet with like a keyboard attached to it. So I can type, so I can list things quickly. So hopefully, anyway, that's what's been filling my brain this week, is getting things. And I've been batch making things from scratch, and it's going really well, but I'm full of it because stupidly I've made like 4 sets. just because that's how it fell. So there's literally going to be, well, there's 3 sets, but the one fabric is like split into 2 different things, so you'll get something different with that bag and something different with this bag. So my brain's been a bit full of it, but I'm getting there. And I'm really pleased with everything I've made, so we'll see how that goes. No more shop talk. This is stitching. So if you come here for stitching and you're like, oh my god, it's another one of these who just rants on about making money and what they're doing, understand I sell things to basically fund my horrific cross-stitch addict thing, and to put fuel in my car basically, and sometimes I do some food shopping with it. So, you know, yeah, it's a craft side hustle to feed craft. That's me. Stitching. So I'll do Treasure Hunt bookshelf first, because I am slowly filling in a shape that I have a box I have drawn. So last week 534, so less, and I've done black. One, because the black is easy to find because it is hanging off my prototype now broken thread drop. I do not make them like this anymore. They now have a lovely resiny coat to them, unless they are incredibly thick and sturdy. I coat them with resin so that they're very strong. And I don't really do the 3-hole, certainly not with a big hole. I do 3 small holes if I'm doing one. And I did pull very, very hard to see how hard you had to pull to break it. I tested that one to destruction. It's mine anyway. Anyway, beside the point. Anyway, just to say, the black's really easy, close by. This is the one I stitched just before bed, and I put in a strand or 2 strands, or as I did this morning. My cutoff is 4 AM because that's when Pattern Keeper resets. I woke up at 20 to 4 this morning with the light still on. I had literally laid down in bed and fallen asleep. Doesn't matter if the light's on now. I can sleep I can sleep full stop. It doesn't matter where or what or how much light or how much noise, how much movement. I will sleep. Richard can't sleep. Could never sleep in any kind of light or telly or anything, but now he's completely blind, so it doesn't matter if the light's on. So sometimes I do forget to turn I fall asleep before I turn the light out. So Anyway, I'm holding it up already. Last week it looked like this. It's only had 534 stitches put into it, and it's now here. You can just about see the blue line of my box. I'll see how many times I have to redraw this box before I actually fill it in. It goes right down to the bottom of the pattern, and I just decided I don't want to move the Q-snap and I want to stitch some colour. There is a big round door here and some oil lamps and things like that, so I'm gonna fill in this block. 22,500 stitches it will be. Oh, sorry, the rather revolting stain, coffee stain there has caught my eye. I'm just going to fold that in, and yeah, just going to carry on. So as I say, I've just been stitching black. There's a lot of black stitches in this square, and I'm just keeping on going, and by and by I'll put some more colour in it. And for those of you who do think that stitching an enormous supersized max colour Haid is cumbersome and big, this is how this lives. This lives as a dangle. I scrumple it up and put it down on top of my clothes pile, but it lives in the bedroom right by the bed. Bloop. And when I stitch, I just arrange it around me like a Afghan lap blanket, and I stitch. And that's all I deal with, is my one thing. I've got no mass of fabric clumped up. I don't use a grime guard because this is, there's really no point. It is grimy. Let's not pull any punches. It is disgusting. I have been stitching on this 4 years. I will be stitching on this 4 years. And when I finished, it will go through the washing machine, which will take out the dirt. And I assume it will look very much nicer and brighter when it's finished. But there's also an awful lot of cat hair in it, but I don't care about that either. So yeah, treasure hunt bookshelf. I'm filling in this box, which is at the bottom, in the middle, at the bottom. Yeah, it's almost exactly in the middle, because look, I've got almost exactly the same amount of fabric draping either side of where it is. So it's in the middle, at the bottom, and there's basically 150 stitches across the top, and I think 164 stitches down, because that was the 15 by 15, and then I just went down to the bottom of the piece, and I'm just going to fill it in. I'm just going to keep on going and filling it in. Treasure hunt bookshelf. I've just got the end of the month figures, so that's what we'll do. So what have I done? So I'll give you my 4 whip go pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, I've got them all. Okay, so the first whip go piece that I'll tell you now, I've not met any of my whip go goals this month, and I'm not going to beat myself up over it. I think I'm pretty close on the pointed fifth, because it wasn't a full 5,000 stitches. I'm going to find I might have to rewatch the video because I've lost my little card that came out of the box. And for the first month, the wheels are coming off my planner. For the first month, I didn't write the monthly goals down, which is weird because every other month I've put my 4 whip go goals in the bottom of my page. I wrote them in the night, last night. But like down here, these whip go goals, this is the first month I haven't written them in. Every other month, oh, it's good. I did all 4 that month. I haven't finished off something else. You get a sticker if you finish. I'm very simple. Oh yeah, I did really well. I finished off them that month, and then the following month I did 3 of the 4. Didn't do any of the best to see you with, so I'll do some next year. But pointed fifth didn't have a 5,000 stitch goal. I'll look back at the video this time last month and find out what my goal was. I think it was 4-3. If it's 4-3, I'm very close. Anyway, my poor old moon dragon only got 811 stitches out of 5,000, so I had a feeling this is the one that I wouldn't get the most on, partly because it's really hard to stitch on. Problem is I don't want to UFO it because I really love it. I really love it, but it just isn't. It's not a priority. And having it in my whip go, I was really hoping that I'd get a good chunk into it. Turns out, if it had spun early in the year, it would have had its stitches. If it had only spun earlier in the year, it would have had its stitches. At this end of the year, I'm very much thinking about Flossmas, I'm thinking about Advent, I'm thinking about Halloween. I'm not thinking about Whip Go. I've still got my pieces, but I'm going to try and really streamline this month so that I'm only picking up the things I genuinely need, want to stitch on. And I've already adjusted my Whip Go goals accordingly. And I think that's all I can do is set my goals at the beginning of the year. And then as the year goes on, just tweak it. And there's no rules. I can tweak it if I want to. It's mine. It's mine to do with as I please. So if I want to tweak it, I can. So I think I'm tweaking. I'm definitely tweaking now, but we'll see. Judging by the things I haven't stitched on yet this year that I know's in my Whip Go tree, I am definitely tweaking for the rest of the year, because I've got 5,000 stitches to put into Pandemic still. I've got a whole month to stitch on the Modern Folk embroidery sal's not spun yet. I've got 2 Hades that I haven't spun yet, and I'm like, oh crikey, I've got a lot to stitch. So I'll be tailoring it all. I'll be tailoring it. So poor Mean Dragon didn't get very much. I got 811 stitches, which is great, but the goal was 5,000, so yeah, not so good. Okay, the other full coverage that was last month has already lost its Q-snap. Where's it gone? Oh, it's here. Was the Spirited Away Tapestry Market Chinese horrible unlicensed kit. This did actually get, in the end, 3,061. So I did 3,000 into it, so it's not too bad. And if I'm pulling out the video, I'll screenshot. It looked like this when I pulled it for the month. And now it looks like this. So basically this is 2 colours here, and you can't tell the difference between them. Oh my god, you really can't. You can just see that there is a band there that's different to, and a band down here. This bit here and this bit here are ever so slightly lighter. And that might even check, that might not change much. I've got to wash it, because obviously you wash this when it's done. Anyway, it's here now, and I've put in a good chunk. If I wanted to do my 5,000 stitches, I worked out by very simple block counting, if I filled in all this bottom here to the girl, to, oh, I can't remember her name, anyway, her, that would be the 5,000 if I just did that. Am I going to do it this year? Nope. It's going away. It's going back in its project bag with its threads and its rather dreadful picture, and it will stay there and languish there for who knows how long, because I have a feeling this isn't even going on my Whip Go next year. Now you see, the little tiny picture up here has got more, that has actually got more variance and colour than the actual piece. I knew these were going to be terrible. I knew it. I know they're terrible. I wanted to do one to know how terrible they are. And I am totally aware of all the unethical reasons why we shouldn't stitch those, but sometimes we do. And hey ho, on we go. And then I had 2 long dogs, both of which have seen fair progress. I had Happily Ever After, of which I have stitched 3,075 stitches, and I added in another colour this week. This week it did get a fair chunk of stitch, which is good. I need to harvest both those needles. I'm just harvesting the needles off the pieces I'm putting away. I'm putting them in the sofa, obviously. Right, I'll put those threads back in my, these are going back in project bags when I'm done. So when I pulled it for the month, it looked like that. It looks very different now, because now it looks like this. So I've done, I'm really, I actually am, I know I'm 2,000 stitches down, but I'm really pleased with the progress, and this will get stitched on next year for sure, because I'm going to be doing both a long dog Whip Go and I'm going to have a spin thing, which I've been thinking about too. So I've finished the tree, and I put in, it's actually a colour from my Chunky Chinese kit, so it isn't DMC, but it is that colour there, which is their equivalent of 3746. So it won't be DMC 3746, and it will be a slightly different colour. Now, my purples clash. I am very aware that my purple squirrel and my purple fruit on my tree clash. They are not even remotely the same purple. But you know what? I like it, and I'm leaving it. What I am going to do, the first time this spins on my long dog spin thing next year, is this squirrel. I'm going to frog him out, and I'm going to move him down. The mistake's not the squirrel. The mistake is the leaf he is sitting on. Is clearly, there's a counting error somewhere in this tree, which I don't care enough to change. But he will be frogged because he is meant to be 2 stitches below the border, and he is touching the border. So, and there's a nice gap here where I can just move him down a couple of stitches. So I am going to do that. I'm now very happy that I can see my lady. I'm happy with the butterfly, and I'm happy to have introduced another colour. It's not going to be everywhere in it, but there is another tree like this over the other side. There's another tree somewhere on this side. It might even be in this big gap here. So I will stitch it in 318 and my dodgy Chinese DMC the same. And other than that, I'm going to keep on trucking. So what was going to be monochrome isn't tall, and I'm really happy with it. So I'm really happy with the progress I put into that one. And that will get touched over and over next year. And then my 4th whip go piece was the pointed 5th, which we all love. I love. We're closing in. I'm in the 70%ish. Of course, I've not pulled the percents. In the 70%ish range now. But I can put up a picture of what it looked like when I pulled it for the start of September. And it has had 4,134 stitches in the month, because it's the easiest of my pieces to stitch on for me. And now I'm folding up the topish half, which is finished. Now it looks like this. So give or take a load of threads in it everywhere. There's a needle for me, I'll have that. Give or take a load of threads. You can see he's here. So this is the bottom there, and I've put in my stitches this week. I didn't put any more over this side, but I put my stitches this week, and I have had it in my work bag. I have been stitching on it. I've gone in here round this next cartouche thingy here. I was hoping to get this bit filled in. I haven't. I'm going to leave it. I'm not going to push it. But what I am going to do, because my long dogs do live in the living room, when I go back to the video and figure out my goal, if I think it was 4-3. Now I'm on 4,134. If it is 4-3, I will fill this in, because that should take me to my whip go goal, which would mean 1 goal met. I have a funny feeling my goal was 4-3. So I will put it away for now. I will check my, oh no, here come the brick people. Oh, poor Maddie. I'll take that out in a minute. I will check through my video to pull the pictures of what things look like at the beginning of the month, and my whip go goals, which I will put in my planner. And yeah, if I am only like 200 stitches off my whip go goal, I will do those just to get a finish, just so I can at least tick another one off. Next doors are getting their driveway block paved. Maddie sleeps in what was the garage, which is joined to next doors what was their garage. We've both had our downstairs is converted into bedrooms. The garage and the utility area of the original house, they've both been converted into extra bedrooms. So so poor Maddie is sleeping right next to where men yesterday were cutting bricks all day. Today, you might be able to hear, it is pouring with rain. The light is good, but October the 1st is bringing grey skies and rain. Lots of rain here in not very sunny Cumbria. It was sunny last week, wasn't it? But not today, it's not. Anyway, oh dear. So poor old Maddie, she's got her loop ear, she's got loop earplugs. So hopefully they will do the job for her today and let her get some sleep, because she's just done her 10-hour night shift and she's got a 10-hour night shift tonight. And then on Thursday she started picking up overtime. She's got I think she's got a 6-hour shift. She finishes at 2 in the morning. She's got a 5-hour shift on Thursday night. So she's doing an extra 5 hours, which is good for her. She's just starting, she's just feeling confident enough now and enjoying it enough to pick up a couple of little half shifts, just a little bit of overtime. She'll probably pick up more and more towards Christmas, which is good for her, because money in the bank's money in the bank. And as far as I can tell, she's not spending a lot. So big full-time wage is simply getting stashed, which is great, because she does want to go back to uni to do her masters eventually. For those of you who've been with me since before she went to university. I just heard shouting. No. I don't know if that's cats, person or birds. Something's making a noise that sounds very grumpy. Anyway, last week, so that's my whip go. So not too bad, about half. We're going to say about half. About half whip go, but I might be able to get the pointed fifth actually finished. So also last week I finally finished My Little Cat Boy, which took some more stitches that I've not written down. Anyway, 923 in total went into Cat Boy, and he is now finished. A little bit of back stitch, a few straggledy whiskers, and a couple of French knots. Now I can do French knots. I don't know how I managed to do them, but I can do them. And he has squint eyes. The pattern is, they are offset against each other. They would have fitted next to each other, but the pattern is definitely either corner of that square. So there he is. So little Cat Boy is done. I need to get oval frames for these, so that I can actually give them for the Halloween this year. They were meant to be last year, but they're this year. So also this month in September, Wolfie got 187 to finish him. He was much nearer done. So I've got Wolfie. And I am, all right, I'll do that in a sec. And where is he? What the cat saw. Our little picture of Eric here. Got 270. I can't get this off. Oh, this must be one of the newer Q-snaps. 276 stitches, and it's now here, whereas before it was all of this column that was needing doing. So I'm still got this bit to fill in. I will eventually get this done. It will be done, but not right now. I've put an old R&R frame on the clip on there, which when it's a full-on Q-snap, actually proper Q-snap, I've put 2 old R&R clips on it. Never mind. Okay, so Cat Boy got finished. So I actually had 3 finishes this month, because those 2 got finished and they were tiddly, but he still took 923 stitches to finish that little Cat Boy. And I also last month started and finished, in solidarity with Adelaide, who we're all watching, and fantastic Adelaide, brilliant, watched you this morning. We've got 31 videos coming out from Adelaide now for Halloween. So if you, of course we will watch her, but if you don't, by some random weird chance you've stumbled across me and you haven't met Adelaide, who is much bigger than me, go and watch her. She's doing a video every day. It's fantastic. I watch them first thing in the morning when I get up, if I'm on an early, or if I'm just like today, I've got a late today, so I'm just up and about. So Cosmic, is she a Cosmic Dreaming Girl, or is she just Cosmic Girl? This is number 2. She is done. I just dyed up a piece of fairly boring fabric. It was already dyed, but I kind of just dyed her in again, just to make it a bit more spacey, to go with an actual proper piece of Picture This Plus. This is Galactic, something like that. Anyway, it's gorgeous. Tiny 16th. There's my proper Dreaming Girl, which I didn't understand back in the day, that you don't change Barbara Anna's colours. So I changed Barbara Anna's colours to my colours, and it took forever to stitch because I changed the colours. But we've since learnt that we don't change Barbara Anna's colours. Barbara Anna knows what she's doing. There we go, creativepoppy.com if you want to easily download these. They do go into Pattern Keeper, you just have to go through, don't let it do it automatically or it won't pick the grids up. You have to do it manually, and that's not the PDF, that is advanced features, I think. Anyway, it is doable, they do go in, they are brilliant. There we go, there she is with her little Space Invaders dangling from her galaxy hair. And also goes with, I literally just had it in my hand and it's gone here. This tiny little thing here is Cosmic Dreamer, is the Cosmic Dreamer one that I did ages ago on a tiny scrap. This has to be 40 count because it is so tiny. So I really should frame these. I really should. I've got a frame. I've got a perfectly sized rectangular, because it's not a regular shape, perfectly sized rectangular frame for this, and I feel like she would go in an oval sideways on, and she would go in a round. So I need to find some frames for them. What, and actually finish things? No. Anyway, I'll have a little look see, because I need to order some ovals for the for Wolfie and Catboy. And then the only other thing I stitched on in September was I started, there's another needle there, my Gecko Rouge kit of Ursa Major, the Great Bear, which I bought myself with a wonderful gift from a lovely lady. And that's all I've done. 377 stitches, but it's a start. And that's on 20 count Ada, 1 strand of DMC. My kit that I bought 25 count, which would have been 2/1. So I have my piece of 25 count that I will not be using for this, because 25 count's not my thing. And there's 3 pages of delightful DMC there, my Gecko Rouge kit. So that is at least a start. I'm going to harvest my Q-snap because I didn't pick it up again, and if I don't go back to something and I don't pick it up, it basically means I'm not stitching on it right now, otherwise I would. And that was a piece of 20 count that had, I think it was Randall Spangler's Fireside Dreams started on it, and I've harvested I cut off the bit of stitching. It was only a couple of thousand stitches. Again, never went back to that, so no point. And I've dyed some of the fabric, and some of the fabric I am using for that. I'm putting that back in my beautiful box, and that can go in my whip cupboard. And that will be in my whip go next year. It'll be in my whip go to have a go at next year, get some stitches into it. I'm harvesting Q-snaps at the moment. Okay, so that's my September stitching. 3 finishes, which was pretty good for me, and not very much on my, sadly not very much on my whip goes. But never mind, we're in a new month. So what I'm going to stitch in October consists of my treasure hunt bookshelf. I want to touch it every day. That's good. Then I've got my 4 whip go pieces, which are here, 2, 3. Of course, after I filmed last week, the very first thing I found when I went into the living room was Dilemma. There we go. And I've rejigged my finished the frame. Oh my god, look, this is what I decided I could manage, was to finish this frame. So can we see how unreasonable I was being, or optimistic? Maybe I was being optimistic. There's the frame as it currently is. My frame is 4 by 4. Now we have only, so that's 16 boxes. I have got 5 boxes and a half. That's it. So realistically, not happening. And I put 1,000 stitches in it, and I think I did this and a little bit down there, and that was it. So no. So my goal now is just to stitch on it all month. Pick it up, put it down, pick it up, put it down. It's a paper pattern, but it's a paper pattern. Partly because Pattern Keeper hadn't come out when I started it, and partly because its actual frame is 3 by 3, so that should be the end. But there's 16 pictures, so of course I'm going to put 16 blocks there. That's how it's going to be. So I'm having to borrow bits of frame from elsewhere. Have I even used that bit yet? No, I've not even stitched that bit in the actual frame yet. So I'm just borrowing bits from elsewhere to do the extra, and then just making sure the corners look like they're meant to. So it's a bit of a think it. I've got to think it, I've got to jiggle it, I've got to, here look, this one here you can see, extra sheet for top right corner. So I'm going along there and going down there. That should be a different corner somewhere else altogether, but I figured it would work. So yes, I've turned it over. That should actually be the bottom left corner. It's page 4. So that should be the bottom left corner. So I've turned it up and put this way up. Helpful. And then I'm stitching the extra bit. And that's what we're doing. And I've got a little bit more. This is Karen Water Lily in pomegranate. And then the insides eventually will be Dinky Dye Mystic Pools. So my 2 colours, not very me, but beautiful. But beautiful. Those 2. So all the border in pomegranate, all the pictures in the middle is Mystic Pools. But I'm not doing the Mystic Pools until I finished the frame. I've got the full pattern there. I've got the PDF. I hope I've got the PDF. Some of the PDFs are still languishing on old devices. Some of them I can't find. I have had to rebuy. Hopefully I can. It's not a problem for this year. It's a problem for when I do finally finish the frame. So I will be stitching on Dilemma. Dilemma's coming to work with me today, which is why I've kept him out. Okay, and then I've got, as it's spun, my other dodgy Chinese kit, which is Merida from Brave. And there's a lot of, I'll give them their credit. Their printing is brilliant, because every single square has got an absolutely clear as day symbol, and it's printed perfectly. But I've got a lot of orange hair to do, which is a lot of here, there, and everywhere. As we can see, this is what it looks like. You can see it's mostly 939. the whole piece is basically 939 with some red hair and a little bit of colour in her dress. So yeah, that's that. And she's obviously shooting her bow, and she's lovely in profile, but she's 939, and I just really like the picture. And there's so few, obviously there's no licensed because it's Disney, but there's so few Brave, even, you know, Etsy ones to find, if you can grab them before they're copyright, before Disney kicks in and grabs them. There's so few to have. What I wanted was the picture of the bear, of them, the tapestry. I'll see if I can pull a picture of what I wanted to stitch here. Cross stitch of it does not exist. I could chart one myself for myself, but I'm not that much. If I found one, I would buy it and stitch it, but I haven't, so I'm not going to do it myself. You know, that's not going to be happening. I think I've even got a pen in here. Oh, I've even got a pen to mark off my stitches, to count the stitches. I have to count the stitches on these, but if all else fails, I can just do 100, 200, 300, 400, 500. I can do 939. There's so much. Everything that's yellow is 939. and there's a huge great lump of 939 in there. So, you know, if all else fails, I'll do 939. And I tailored down, I think I went down to 2,500 stitches, which last month, that's basically what I put into the other one. So yeah, be about right. There we go. So I'm going to stitch on that. That's 2 of them. And then I have got my Kingdom of Books, which was a restart of my Russian kit. And I restarted this, I think, in October last year. And I did just a little bit, which I did take a picture of it this morning because I have already done 200 and something stitches into it this morning, which I'm so pleased with because I've got a good start. Because anything, basically now, any stitches I put in is great. So it looked like this morning, and I know I took a picture of it before I started. And it looks like this now. So what I've done, I've just been filling in. I've done some white, and I've been filling in here, filled in some stitches there. And I've done quite a bit of white, and I used up the blue strand that was on my there was a park blue thread, so I used some of that too. Oh, I have this morning, I checked out my eBay basket, and I got a load of dark and sinister Fimo colours to do some Halloweeny needle minders. By the by, and these were in my basket. I've got 2 sets of these wonderful stamps coming, so I will turn them into needle minders too, because they are I think I can honestly say they're my favourite set of stamps. Here's a Tuxedo Cat on 3 beautiful chimney pots, who are very jolly, and there is a white dove in front. I love that stamp so much. Where is the light? Where is the light? There it is. Anyway, there's 5 in the set, and they're all glorious. So I will make those into needle minders. Yeah. So I was pretty pleased with myself that I have actually got both the bottom and the top. He's only this big. This is 18 count Ada. So he's only that big. And then long, which is just as well, because I've got a yard of vellum here. Picture This Plus, which I was given, which is marvellous. And then on the other end, I mean, it's autumn now, but coincidentally, I'm still missing stitches on this for the year, because this was February when my world went wrong. I've got Renato Parolin Seasons Trees on the other side. Again, that's the top and the bottom, so they are in no way intersecting each other. They're 2 long skinny patterns, one on the top and one on the bottom. And if at any point this calls to me, I've got it here because I'm stitching on the other side. So there's me Renato Parolin. I still owe myself 3,000 stitches into that, I think. A lot of it's backstitched because a lot of this tree, this winter tree here, I'm going to leave very bare. I'm going to do the berries, but the leaves are going to be sparse. But you know, I could put a few strands into the border, which is all leaves. I could put a few strands into the border there, and easily knock out a few hundred stitches into it, just cause. So I'm going to say I maybe will stitch on that, but obviously I'm here to stitch my Kingdom of Books, which is in Pattern Keeper, which is marvellous. You can buy PDFs that do load into Pattern Keeper on Etsy of this pattern. Yeah. Stuart in Stitches sent me the link to the one that he had that works. So that's the one I bought. So there we go. And then I had to go through the conversion because I bought the kit and started the kit. I got the kit threads, which, yeah, turns out you can't match up with the DMC floss card. You need to do a huge pattern thing where you check the paper pattern, you match the yo to the symbol, you get the colour, you get the colour's number, you look at that square on Pattern Keeper, and then get the DMC number, and then next to number 23 write 406 or whatever, you know. I had to go through that process for 2 huge floss drops, but it's done, so now it's easy. Before then it was nonsense, but I've done that, that's done, so now I can just stitch on it. And then my 4th is Aphrodite, which I'm essentially restarting. I'm restarting her because I have totally decided to colour convert her dress, and I think her hair as well is going to be darker because Lizzie is definitely a brunette and not red. So I think I'm going to make her hair darker, and I'm not entirely sure I'm going to do the dodgy ponytail. I might. I think maybe her hair will end here and not there. I don't know yet. It might just be a massive great bun. You'll see, but I will rechart that into browns because she's a brunette. And now I am almost convinced that her dress will definitely is not going to be pink, because pink. Although Lizzie does, she's getting pinkier as she's getting older, to be honest. She's so cute. They came round for tea last night. I had all four of my kids here last night. It was wonderful. I'm thinking now we are going to go, I'm just going to pull some to show you the colours I'm aiming at. We are looking at the 790s, I think, to convert, and no, probably not 79, not 796. I'm probably going to go 820, possibly going to stick, ew, that is not 797, whatever that is, it's not right. I've got a bit on my, I don't know if you can see, look, that's wrong. Whatever colour that is, that's hanging on my 797, that is not 797, that's coming off right now. I found a bit and I've stuck it on there, and that's gone on the wrong bobbin. That's coming off. Right, that's 797. So I think we're going into the 790s. Don't know what that is. That can go in the bin, because if I can't match it, it's going in the bin. If I don't know what it is, it's going in the bin. Never used to do that. I used to keep all of them, but now I'm like, nope, don't know what it is. It's going in the bin. So I think maybe 790s and the best blue in the world for the deepest 820. So I think that's what we're going to do, and I'm probably just going to convert it, get on with it, and be done with it. And then I've got my right colours. I know where I am. I've got my DMC here, my master set. And my master set is so small, it fits in one, and then the other side. That's the 3000s, and that's up to 920 is the last one, 921, and then on the other side I've got a 921. I try not to keep two bobbins of anything in here. I try to only keep one, and it's quite full at the minute because I've been trying to put them back. Anyway, that's the only reason I could pull them out just then. So, going to do that, but for now, when I pick him up, I can stitch on the swan, because the top of her knee is done down to here. So as soon as I've got some swan going, I can start frogging the knee, because that's going to get changed. So I have decided, and then it's on this beautiful piece of fabric. My little project bag is full. This is my size. This is the size project bag I make, 12 by 9. This, I think these are 12 by 9s. I normally make 12 by 10s. This might be a 12 by 10 because it's mine. 12 by 10 is what I make now. And yeah, it's her knee. That's all I've got on it. It's a beautiful piece of Stitch Me called It's a Mystery. It's 32 count, which is perfect for beads and things. And look at this fabric. Oh, it's amazing. Absolutely perfect for this sort of piece. But I just need to go down and start the swan. Just here will be swan, and then I can start picking out the knee. That's going up to her knee there. Her knee's about here. So I just started in the middle because I wanted it to be centered on this beautiful piece of fabric, as it is so pretty, so pretty. And it's just the mottling is so tight. It's so spinning, needs ironing, but look, the mottling is so tight and small. It's wonderful. So there we go. So I'm going to sort my colours pretty quickly. I thought I'd leave it. I will start some swan, but I'm going to sort my colours and actually, so I know where I am with it. So that's my 4 whip goes. And then other than those, all I'm aiming to stitch on this month is the squids that go with these. So the 3 squid, which I'll just move this up, move Eric down, move this up and start the squids. Actually, I've just put this blooming back on, haven't I? But I'm going to get on with the squids, see if I can get that started and finished before Halloween, because the squids will go to Maddie because she's my squid thing. I need to put some extra stitches in the top here, join him on up here. That's easy done. Let's use some of that blue, whatever that blue was. So as long as it's done for the 31st, I can just quickly pop it in the frame and give it to Maddie at Halloween, because she's here. I don't have to post it or do anything. Right, let's just stitch Eric on this corner here so that I can use my Q-snap tight, and then that'll be good. Yeah, so I'm going to do my squids for Maddie because I've got one for the other girls. There's no, I can't really do one for Austin because he wouldn't display it. If you see what I mean, it would just be in the jumble of things at the house. So there's no real incentive for me to give him beautiful hand done cross stitch at the moment, which is fine. Our time will come. She says, thinking, would my boy ever really appreciate a cross stitch? But there we go. It's just, I know right now it would just end up in a corner on the floor. So there we go. So I've moved that. I've just put a couple of stitches, one enormous great cross stitch there just to hold. So now I can start stitching my squids here. I'll probably need to move it up a bit as time goes on. This was a long skinny piece of 20 count, cut off something. I tried to dye it as purpley as I could. At the time, this was about as good a purple as I can get. I'm much better at purple now. I can do purple a lot brighter. But there we go. And I'm going to do the 3 little squids here, picture here, because I've got a picture of it and it's easy to put up. And then the only other thing is I think my only other Halloween piece, because I've stitched on Halloween at Hawk Run Hollow this year already, is my orange fabric sale, which again is Be Stitch Me. It's called Pumpkin Patch and it is 16 count Ada, which is just lovely to stitch on. So this is I've got no idea. I'll go and watch Adelaide's video, she'll tell you what it is. This is this one. I'll put it up here. Is it Autumn Lane Stitchery? I'm probably wrong. It is, it's Autumn Lane Stitchery. It's the one Helen Dee's finished and it's on the wall where she does her Flosstube. It's on the wall in the hall up the stairs. It's there in her house when she does her Flosstubes, because she's decorated for fall, so it's there. There's my start. I did enough of I started bottom centre. I did enough of the railing so I could stitch the cat on Adelaide's birthday. So I'm going to carry on with this and just do it now, just put a few stitches into it now and again to make it Halloweeny, my Halloweeny stitching. And there we have it. So I've taken myself down to 7 pieces in October, 4 whip go, which I've given myself a lot of leeway on, 2 Halloween pieces, one I would like to start and finish, and the other one I'm just going to stitch on, and my bookshelf, which I stitch on every night. So I think that's better for me. And everything else I'm going to pack up, put in the baskets and tuck them away, so that I've not got do me, stitch on me, stitch on me, stitch on me, stitch on me. And that's what they do, they call to me. And then I get really scattery. So I'm just going to keep out the ones that I know I'm needing to stitch on, so that, and then if something is niggling at me and calling at me and calling at me, I can then go and get it. I was going to start this enormous spider as a Halloween piece. I'm shelving that for right now. That might be my New Year start, might be a Christmas start, might be something else altogether, because my brain's full right now and I need my brain to not be this full. So I'm not starting a new piece, and I'm just gonna just go with it right now, and we'll see how we do. There we go. I'm looking around to see if there's anything else I need to say. I don't think there is. I think we're good for right now. Oh, I did hit 4,000 subscribers. Wonders may never cease, huh? I'm now doing that awful thing when you're a YouTuber and you can't help noticing. I'm going 4007, 4002, 4003, 4001, 4006, 4002. And it's like once you're over the hump of a big number, you don't see it so much. But at the moment, because it's an 00 and then a number, one day it'll be 7, the next day it'll be 1. And I'm like, well, 6 people have unsubscribed. That's nice. You know, it's not, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. If you're watching and you aren't subscribed, if you'd like to subscribe, that'd be lovely. I will do a big 4,000 subscriber giveaway. I promised a crochet project bag. Yeah, I thought I'd have a bit more time to make that. We'll see. It might be one of my Halloween packs. We'll see. Anyway, there will be, but it's not today. I've not sorted it for today. So, yep, not today, but soon. I will do a 4,000 subscriber giveaway because that's a nice thing to do. Anyway, thank you very much for subscribing to my channel and watching me and listening to my drivel. This is 51 minutes in now. It must have gone, it's 9:30. Crikey. I've got to go to work at 1 o'clock. I've just got one random late. I'm off tomorrow. And then I'm back to earlies again. I've been on earlies for 2 weeks now. I've got this one random late and then back to earlies. And then next week I think I'm late. On lates, I get time in the mornings. I can do videos, I can stitch, I can see to do things. When I get home from an early, I'm knackered. I want to sleep. I used to love earlies. Now they just jigger me right out. I'm either getting old or I've had too much trauma this year or something. Anyway, guys, I'll see you next week. Don't know what my rota's like for next week because I haven't really processed it yet. I haven't looked. I don't know. It might be Wednesday, might be Thursday. I will be back in a week. Unless, caveat here, I sort myself out and open my Shopify and get my Halloween and autumn packs in. If I do that, I might do a little video which will be welcome to my Shopify shop, which will not be cross stitch. So if that pops up and it's small and it will be clearly marked not cross stitch, no stitching, and you're not interested, don't bother watching that one. But I'm thinking, just so we know it's there, I might do that. But don't hold your breath because it might not be this week because we all know what I'm like. I might just list them on Ko-fi. If I don't get myself sorted out, I might just list them on Ko-fi. Anyway, guys, thank you all very much for watching and I will see you next week. I haven't done very much life this week. Everybody's fine. We're just trucking along. There we go. That's it. That's the life. Not much. I've been working. I did 5 days last week, so a lot of blur. 5 earlies are a bit blurry for me. Anyway, I will see you next week. Have a good week. First week of October. Enjoy your Halloweeny stitching if you're a Halloweeny stitcher. And brilliant. I'll see you later, guys. Bye-bye.